Well, hello and welcome to this week's issue of BRN United. I'm so pleased and honored to be here in the pastor's office at Ezekiel Baptist Church in Philadelphia with Pastor Brian King, who is the senior pastor of Ezekiel, but also Pastor King serves as the president of our Baptist Convention. And recently, as we were talking about the annual meeting in November and some of our hopes and aspirations, he shared with me a burden, a concern that he has for bivocational pastors. He's aware that in our convention, about 75% of our pastors serve bivocationally. So, Pastor King, share a bit about your heart and your concern, value for bivocational ministers.
Yeah, I really want to encourage the bivocational pastor and his entire congregation. My burden is that I want them to feel that they play a major role in the kingdom. I want them to honor their pastor and honor their ministry, and to think that just because they're not a big church, that they're not doing anything or they're not doing as much as they could. But I just want to let them know that there are many of us within the convention who do in fact value them and value their congregations.
That's a good word. The word value is an important word because often the access to resources can seem to be limited because they think, well, I can't come to the Monday morning, pastors' conference. So talk to us a little bit, Pastor King, about what you think we as a convention could do to perhaps even increase that sense of value and that sense of resourcing.
Well, I would first begin by saying that the convention has done tremendous amounts of work and outreach to let the statewide know that resources are available. I would say, and I would encourage the pastors, that if you can't make it, if there's someone within your congregation who could help facilitate that, to help you gather the information, to please take advantage of it. My church, we started out, we were very small. When I first became pastor, we might have had maybe 50 in attendance. But it was through taking advantage of the resources within our state convention that it helped me to pastor more effectively. And so I would hope that and encourage these pastors that even though your time is limited, there are ways that the ministry which God has given you and the vision which God has given you can in fact come to fruition, but it's just going to take some time and how you navigate who can you get there to help support you.
That's a really good word, and I appreciate you highlighting the fact that as a convention, we do desire to make the resources that we've been entrusted with, to be available, and it's accessible in so many different ways now through our website, and we're not just limited to having to come to a meeting at 10 o'clock Monday morning.
Right.
It's accessible anytime. Well, as we close our conversation, I wonder, Pastor King, if there's maybe a personal word of encouragement that you'd like to offer to our pastors, who particularly the bivocational pastors and the pastors of our smaller churches.
For a brief period in my ministry, I was bivocational as well. Working full-time, young family, 6 children. One was being treated with brain cancer.
Wow.
So I clearly understand the demands on your time. I clearly understand that. And my encouragement to you is stay true to what God has called you to. And in those times when you're tired and when the wife and family are saying you're not spending enough time with them, sometimes reflect on that and say, okay, what can I do to make sure I'm spending the time with my family that I need to? And then I would say, please learn how to get the right people in place to help you do the ministry, because you can't do it by yourself. And don't feel that only you can do it, that God has gifted you with people in your congregation. Identify who they are and then position them so that they in turn can be the leaders in the church, so that it frees you to be the person God has called you to be.
Amen. Thank you so much. And I was just thinking, Pastor King, that the heart and the passion that you've just shared, that's true of you in ministry. And I've known you for years, and I hope this will encourage you, because Pastor King, this will be his final year as our convention president, bringing his final president's address. And I hope that here in the heart that Pastor King has shared, it'll encourage you to be a part of our annual meeting in November. But we'll talk some more about that later on. But thank you for joining us this week with BRN United, and I look forward to talking with you next week.